All right, everybody. Scott
Mhm.
Pierce and Vince Meza here at Listings to Leads. Welcome to the call today on generating seller leads. Vince.
Good morning, everybody.
All right. So today I'm actually going to review a couple of new things that we got in the system. I think a lot of you maybe have seen some of this, but we've added a new listing presentation status, or I should say a complete marketing plan to get your home sold. And that is for canceled listings. A lot of you may know, and if you don't know, I will let you know about the complete marketing plan to get your home sold. So in the listing presentation, this is a game changer. We've had so many clients talk to us about the fact that when they get a listing presentation scheduled, they go in, and I'm going to walk you through, if you don't know yet, how this is presented. Have any of you used this yet? Go ahead and comment in if you've had a chance to use this in a listing presentation. Maybe you've used it with an expired or a FSBO. So go ahead and comment in if you have. And how you doing, man? Good to see you. So Barbara, all right.
Let me
You're having a
say
listing
something.
presentation coming up soon.
Let me interrupt on this before you get started here, Scott. So
Yeah.
I've introduced this to 5 different agents over the past 2 months. And because Scott and I are always talking to agents, and every agent that has used this in their presentation has won their listing. And Scott will show you it's like halfway through, it just closes it. So go ahead. I just want to let everybody know, like, this is working right now for people all over the place.
Oh yeah. And in fact, I'm going to walk you through how to use it and how people have you to get listings. And so what this is, it allows you to upload a photo of the property. And so it could be a listing presentation you're going on. It could be for an expired listing. The one we just introduced the other day at the end of last week was for canceled listings. So a lot of people were asking for that one, as we got that one live just recently. And there's a PDF version. So there's a 26-page PDF that you can print and you can bind it. This is not the best binder in the world, but you get the idea. And it's a great thing to actually leave behind. Then I'm going to give a few other ideas of using it, because if you think about it, a seller lead on Facebook costs what? Anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks. So you're doing a Facebook ad, maybe you're doing Google, maybe you're doing other things as well to generate seller leads. Seller leads in general are not cheap. And then you've got people in your database. So you got people in your database that have told you they're thinking about selling. They might be selling at some point in the next 1 to 6 months. And instead of waiting around and them possibly getting with another agent, getting impressed or wowed by another agent, and you losing that opportunity, what we want to do is we want to get ahead of that. And we want to get this in front of as many people as possible who are likely to want to get their home sold sooner than later. And so the name of the game is, how are we going to use this to get listings in the next 30 days or less? And like I said, printing this up, I just was in Chat GPT, and I've done this in the past. I've done some research. Printing 26 pages in color will cost you anywhere from 6 to 8, 6 to 10 bucks, which is cheaper than most seller leads. And this is going to be a lot more impactful when we put this in front of the right people. And so to that point, it looks like there's a lot of people here who have not used it. Amber from Nebraska, love it. Amber, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. So this right here, again, you upload a photo into Listings to Leads. The system will create this. It's completely branded to you on every single page, all of your colors. And the idea, and there's a landing page, there's a flip book, and then there is a PDF, like I mentioned. And so as you go through this, one of the beautiful things about it is it makes defending your commission a lot easier, because when a homeowner sees all the things that are in here, discussions around trying to get you to lower your commission go down dramatically. In fact, you could probably even get a higher commission if you present this. The other great thing about this is it'll take you about 5 minutes to learn it, because as you go through this on your own the first time, you're going to see it's essentially all bullet pointed out for you. You can add a little bit more to it, but all your talking points are right in the presentation itself. So we talk about the fact that we're going to do paid Facebook and Instagram ads. we give some information about that. We talk about social media marketing, we give some information. Then we go through YouTube, print marketing, nearby neighbor marketing, right? Talking about how family and friends are reconnecting now more than ever. And we want to make sure to let your neighbors know because they may know people looking to buy in the area. We talk about email marketing. We talk about the people that they know may know people looking to buy in the area. Short form videos, listing websites and virtual tours. And you can see here, I want you to put on the seller or the homeowner's hat. They are looking at their home. So on every single page here, they are looking at their home, just impressed to hell. Next here, you look at this listing flyers, and then they see their domain. This is one of the things when we first launched, this was not highlighted. We just highlighted this in yellow maybe about a month or so ago. And we did that because our clients were telling us that the homeowners absolutely love that domain. And every single listing that you put in for this presentation is going to get one of those domains. And Randy Miller says, hello from Michigan. We love this presentation. It's a big winner for us. Yeah, Randy, that's awesome. Randy, who are you with out there? And as we go through this here, because here, right here, yes.
Yeah, I'll let you go. I just want to say, because I'm not sure if everybody's really familiar with listings to leads and the whole platform that we do, but everything that you're looking at, we are doing automatically for all of your listings. We're not putting things in here that you are not able to bring to the table. If you're a client of ours, this is all automatically done for you. So I just wanted to say that. So carry on, Scott. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. In fact, and if you do other things, you can add them, right? You can create another slick and put it in here as well. But so anyways, on this page right here, and if any of you want to pull out your phones, I'm going to make that really big and I'm going to give it just a few seconds, like a little bit here. Pull out your phone, scan the QR code on the left. And when you're in a listing presentation, what you want to do is have the homeowner, the potential seller, do the exact same thing. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, go ahead and pull out your phones and scan the QR code on this page. And they're going to scan the QR code. They're going to be looking at their home right on their phone. They're going to be able to scroll up and down the single property website virtual tour and look at all the, now obviously it's just a shell of it. When you add the listing and it's ready to go to market, there'll be more things in there. But when they see their home and the home address and a little bit of the information, the Google Street View, the walk score stuff, some of the other items that are in there, they are going to be absolutely dumbfounded. And that right there, we've had people get listing agreements signed right there, right? That right there is going to knock their socks off before you even continue on from here. So anybody here have a chance to scan that? And Sarah, I'm going to definitely be walking through how to create this, but let me just, I'm almost finished up here talking about QR codes, reach and frequency. Now we just added, for those of you who do not do coming soon, there is now an option in listings to leads to check a box and take out the coming soon. Vince, if you know where that is, I know we just made that live this morning and it was,
Yeah, I'll go look. I'll go look.
yeah, let me know where that is so I can just navigate to there a little bit later.
Yeah.
But what I would do is if you don't do coming soon and this is there, just let the seller know or the homeowner know that we use coming soon to get all your pictures done, to make sure the property looks amazing, get all of our marketing dialed in so that once we launch and go live as just listed, we're going to hit the ground running. Now, here's another little pro tip for a lot of people. Have a notebook and a pen, all right? And maybe you have a calendar in the notebook, or maybe just pull out a calendar and make sure to find out ahead of time what is the homeowner's desired sell date. So a lot of times when a homeowner is going to list their home for sale, they have an idea in their mind. So for example, today is August 10th or 11th. So let's say it's August 11th and they want to be out by mid-November because they want to move and they want to be settled in by the beginning of January. So they want the home to get sold sometime in November, December timeframe. And so use that and then back into when they should list their property so that you are essentially providing a listing roadmap. And what's going to happen is as you go through that and as you're writing dates down in your calendar, they're going to start nodding. And what will happen is when you get to talking about, and then we'll get the property sold, they're going to be like, all of that sounds absolutely perfect. And so when you combine this part right here with all of the marketing that is going to be done in the first part of this presentation, that's going to, you're going to walk right into getting that listing agreement signed. And so that might look something like this. So if you want to be out of your house by mid-November, that means we need to be in escrow at the latest by early mid-October. All right. So right now it's August, September, October. That's 2 months. So in 2 months from now, we want to be into contract. Average days on market right now is 40 days. It can be a little bit better. Now, everyone's going to be a little bit different. So understand these numbers in your local market. But let's just say days on market on average is about 40 days. So that means if we want to be in contract by mid-October, we would want to be listed by late August at the latest. All right. Now it's going to take us about a week or so to get your home perfectly set up so that we can get all the photographs, make sure it looks perfect, make sure we get everything dialed in, like I just mentioned, before we hit the market, so that once we do list, we will actually have the best opportunity to get offers in on your property, get you into contract. And then if we need to, we can extend the escrow a little bit, ask for a 40-day close of escrow versus a 30-day, or maybe we go to 21-day versus a 30-day. You get the idea. And so as you're going through here, so we would want to get to the coming soon part fairly quickly so that we can get all these things in line, like I just mentioned. Then we'll list your property conceivably on September 1st. We'll do it just listed. And then we will do an open house on the first weekend. So we'll list your house on the Monday. We'll do the open house that weekend. Now, if you don't do open houses, you can just say, if the seller doesn't want to do an open house and you determine that ahead of time, then you can just let them know that you won't do an open house for them. But obviously we know, and in fact, open houses are one of the other better ways to get more listings. All right. When our clients use our program to market the open house and all the tools and listings to leads, getting listings is phenomenal. You're going to attract more listings that way as well. But we do the open house, and then we'll look to see if we have any offers at that point. And if we do, we'll negotiate, we'll go through those, and we'll make sure to get you the best offer possible with the least amount of stress. But if we don't, then we'll be active. Would be active marketing again. Average days on market is about 40 days, which would put us pending, all right, typically in mid-September. And that way, again, we'll do a 30-day close of escrow and we'll close at the end of October. And then that way you can be moved on to your next home and on the schedule that you're looking for. But here's the deal. We are not going to stop marketing your home just because it goes into escrow. We will keep marketing your home, right? Just like it says on the sheet right here. We will keep marketing your home until it is sold. And so, I'm telling you, homeowners, sellers absolutely love it. Yeah, in fact, that's a great comment right there. Yeah, you know what? Hold that thought, because I've got something for you on that. That is awesome. So hold that thought. We'll get back to that here a little bit later. But thank you for the comment. That is, you know what? I tell people to do that too. Print these up and take them to your open house, because that way when the neighbors come through and they see that sitting on the table, you're going to get more great conversations with those neighbors or buyers that also have a home to sell. So thank you for that comment. That's awesome. And then it's going to end up on this. And again, the PDF and this flip book are the exact same, just different formats. So we'll keep them updated with weekly traffic reports. And then it's going to end here with, if you've got your client review website set up with listings to leads, that will appear here. If not, it won't. But then also you got a couple of seller PDF guides that the homeowner can scan. But again, these are all branded to you, So your pictures, your logos, your colors, everything are in these guides as well. And it's just more engagement, more value that you're bringing to the table. So the recent addition at the end of last week was we've added this for canceled listings. So a lot of you have expireds, but then there are also canceled as well. So now we got the exact same presentation, both the PDF, the flip book, and the landing page available for canceled listings. And what's beautiful about these is It's got their name right on the cover. So prepared for, in this case, Franco Latte. It's got their home address on the cover. It's got their home on the cover. And so I want to talk through some of the ideas of when you've got expireds, you've got canceleds, you've got even FISBOs in your area. It's easy enough to get the contact information via programs like My Plus Leads and others. There's a lot of ways to get this homeowner data. Is for homes that are in your farm area where you want to be the listing agent on those expireds, on those cancels, on those FISBOs, on those sellers that you know that are in your database that are thinking about selling. We don't want to wait to get invited to a listing presentation. We don't want to try and cold call them like every other agent out there. They're getting 100 calls, they're getting 200 calls a week from different agents. They've all got the same 2 or 3 scripts. All right. In fact, I had a client on one of the calls recently told me, it was funny. He said, he goes, yeah, he goes, I called he goes, I got the seller on the phone. And the seller, after my first line, said, you know what? You're the third person to give me that same script. Right. Yeah. Great job. I mean, congratulations on getting that homeowner on the phone. But to be the second or third agent with that same script, it doesn't make the first agent look any better than it makes the third agent, because now that homeowner is going, great, all these agents with the same script calling me. What they are not doing is they are not sending that homeowner something that they can take a look at, something that is going to impress the heck out of them when they see it either via text, via email, if it's printed up and dropped off on their door or mailed to them in the mail. And in fact, one of the things I'm going to put this into the StreamYard chat. This is a thermal binding machine. It is very inexpensive. It's $57. I've actually got one of these myself. It is what I printed this with. Now, I wouldn't, if I'm going into a actual listing presentation, I'm going to use a better binder. I'm going to use like a nice leather folder, maybe get something a little bit more presentable. But for those canceled and those expireds in my area, and maybe again for those homeowners in my database who have not called me for a listing presentation yet, this right here could be a great way to very cost effectively get it into their hands, so that when they get a postcard, all right, they get a postcard in the mail. This is going to be the postcard every day of the week. Every single day, this will be the postcard all day long. And it'll cost you between, depending on the type of printer you've got, probably between $6 to $10, which is cheaper than a seller lead. So if we can identify these would-be homeowners, again, you got your MLS, you got My Plus Leads, you got other programs, get those expireds, get those canceled. Now, there are hundreds of them in your area. You're not going to want to do these for hundreds of them, but I would be picking 1 to 2 a day. I would, whether I use Google Street View or I go by and take a photo myself. And let me just walk you through. Once you've identified the home, right? Again, FISBOs are a little bit different because the FISBO may just want to stay FISBO for a while, although it's up to you. But once I've identified the canceled and expireds and those homeowners in my database that I want to make sure I get this to, in listings to leads, click on listings. And Randy says, yeah, that is an awesome product. Yeah, Randy, totally right. Although I will say, I wish that binding machine was a little bit more clear on when it was working, because you turn it on and then what you do is you set the paper into it. In fact, I'll do a video on it sometime. You set the papers into it and the indication that it's working is a little bit off. Like sometimes you don't really know, like, is it actually heating up and working? And then you just let it go for a couple of minutes and it's good to go. But I wish it was a little bit more clear on, yeah, we're actually binding this for you versus not. But regardless, it's so cost effective. And to Randy's point, it does absolutely work. All right. So we got the house. So 121 Tomlinson Drive, that's the property. Again, it's either canceled, expired, or it's a homeowner in my database that has mentioned that they are thinking about selling sometime in the next 1 to 6, 1 to 12 months, but they haven't committed and they haven't actually pulled the trigger yet. So get a photo, Google Street View, or go by and take a photo with your camera. Do not steal the listing agent's photo from the previous listing. That is a sure way to let that homeowner know you're not worth your salt. All right. When you start taking the photos of the previous agent, what are you doing differently? So just want to say that. So on the listings dashboard, right here where it says listings, click the green add listing button and you're going to go manual. And the first thing you're going to do is select the status. So it'll either be listing presentation for those that are already in your database, or if you come down here, expired. So for listings that are expired, canceled. So if it's a canceled listing, like I was just telling you about that, just went live last week. And just so you know, though we're not going to cover it too much today, although Vince, I was talking to one of our in the mastermind group, one of our clients, Lance. He approached a FISBO with this and got their property listed and got it sold. So it
Yeah.
totally works with FISBOs as well.
We have a new client who just joined EXP, and on her new kind of onboarding training, it's like you have to get 5 listings in 2 months or something like that. And so
Oh,
she had 8 FISBO appointments, and I was walking her through, here's how you set this up. So
yeah.
right what we're doing here. So I'm sure she'll be closing some of those as well.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Like I said, when the whole, and the great thing about a FISBO is they have a feeling for how hard it is, right? They think, oh, the agent's not worth their weight, and the agents are worthless. I can do this on my own. But of course, as soon as they get involved and they start getting those crazy buyers and they realize how hard it is actually to market it and stay on top of it. And then you walk in with this, it's game over. It's literally game over. So, anyways, I selected canceled name. It's just the homeowner's name. And I'm going to say Randy Miller and Randy at, I'll say Randy M, just so we don't. Now, this is not going to send out any email. So there's really no need to change that. But
This is just going on the cover
yeah,
of the presentation. So that's what you're putting there.
yep. And you don't have to put in a headline, but I'm going to do it. All right. And then you're going to put in the street address.
And by the way, I always tell agents to put the same headline in the body of the property description, because you might not even see that, because we are developing kind of all the marketing tools, but we're not auto syndicating, auto posting stuff. So they're only going to see their listing on their smartphone.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we've actually had this question in the mastermind group a few times, which is when you get the listing, so you actually get the listing agreement, all you have to do is change the status from expired in this case or canceled to coming soon or just listed. So you're actually doing a little bit of the pre-work for yourself, and it'll be much easier now once you get that listing agreement signed. Just fill in the rest of the information. So you don't need price, you don't need bedroom and bathroom. You don't even need a property description. But to Vince's point, I put in the headline right there. Go to save and add photo. And then we're going to just upload a photo.
You only need one.
Yep.
And you can get that you can use your smartphone to do it.
Yep. If you wanted to, you could use Google Street View. If you look it up on Google, I did this last week in a class, and actually we did 2 properties. One of them had a truck in the driveway, which could happen if you go take your own photo, right? You can't go knock on the door and, hey, I'm going to be doing something. Can you move your truck for me real quick? That'd be funny. And so anyways, but the Google Street View had a truck, and sometimes you'll see trash cans, but the other home was absolutely perfect. I want this to be as clean and beautiful as possible. So, hey, if the Google Street View works, great. But if not, then go take a photo. So just one photo. And that already pre-filled, nothing I need to do there. Just click save and start. Now, that's a little bit misnamed just because it's following the same flow as the rest of the stuff. It's not going to do any marketing. So no marketing will be done. And we're done. It literally took me maybe a minute and a half to do. And now it'll take a few minutes, because what's going to happen now is going to be preparing all of this stuff. But the landing page is ready to go. So here we go. The complete marketing plan to get 121 Tomlinson Drive in Folsom, California sold. And we've got the screenshot of the cover right there. Now, one of the things that one of our clients was telling me that they use this for is they'll actually, when they're going to send it cold, they will send this landing page to the homeowner. And they've also had it where the homeowner has asked for the landing page because they want to send it to maybe a family member. They're talking about selling their home with a family member. And so they're in conversations. And so the member wants to see the presentation, or somebody else that's part of the decision. When you send the landing page, now you're going to know when somebody downloads the guide. So the landing page can be a great tool to use, because now when I click download, name, email, and phone number, download, and what it will do is download the PDF. All right. And then in about a minute or two, that flip book, but let's just go to one of my listings that I've already got.
Scott, while you're doing that, I want to answer a few questions that are coming up, which are
Yeah, for sure.
important. So one of them, which Brittany just asked, is when we load this in, we are not going to auto post this listing, whether it's expired, canceled, or just a straight listing presentation. It's not meant to be marketed. So even though you have all your auto posting settings turned on, we will not be posting this to your socials. You're just going to get a couple of tools that you can present to the owner. Now, another good question was somebody was asking, can we put our broker logo or a team name? And so Scott's showing you his, and that little logo above his name is actually the logo in the profile. So it already is designed to put your headshot, your logo, your contact info on every page. And if you're using your team name, there's a place on your profile where you can say, use my team name instead of my name. And that's
Yeah, it says listings to leads just because that's what I got in my profile. I used to do L to L Realty, and then people thought I was a real estate agent still, or that we were a brokerage, and we're not. Yeah, it'll have your name, your team name if you got one, your broker name, your picture, your phone number, all branded to you, whatever colors you've got selected, even the font. All right. In fact, I've seen some fonts and I was surprised, like, oh man. So whatever font you got selected in the profile, if there's a font that we don't have that you need, to get with our support team, see if we can add it.
Hey, Scott,
But yeah,
there's a good question. I've seen it a couple times. Does this count against our 10 listing limit? I think the answer is yes.
yes. And I'll tell you, we've got a client that's got over 400 listings in their account because they are using this. They don't have 400 listings. To be honest, I don't know how many are their listings, but I know it's not 400. Maybe they got 20 or 30 listings, but they have over last time I checked was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. They had 426 listings. And it's almost like every day or so, there's a new one that they're adding. They're doing expireds. I'm sure they're going to start doing cancels now. That's done. I think they're mostly doing expireds. I don't think I've ever seen them doing any FSBOs. Maybe I'm not tracking them every single day, but I've seen them. I've seen the ones coming through that are expireds. But it's over 426 as of last count. So, yeah, I would say for any of you, if you got 2, 3, 4 listings, first of all, keep the listings in your account clean. So, every time there's a status change, make sure and I'll point it out to you where it is. Make sure you're changing the status to keep up to date with that, because when it goes from active to pending, for example, you want to change that status to pending right away to take advantage of all the pending marketing. One of the best ways to get seller leads. When you close escrow, you want to change it to just sold right away. If you're the selling agent and your buyer's in contract on a property, or you just sold a buyer a property, add those to your listings to leads account. Again, make sure you're updating those statuses. I would say after about 30 days, you can delete that just sold property, make room for another one, but go through all the just sold marketing first so that we can maximize the number of seller leads that we get. The really cool thing is if somebody, let's say they click on a social media post or an e-flyer a year later, they see an e-flyer that they forgot that they missed, or a social media post that they didn't see. They click on it. It is going to go to your agent listing website automatically, where they can download this exact same presentation, or they can see all of your current active and pending and sold listings. So yeah, I would try to keep your account clean, and that way you'll have more listings. And then, hey, if you've got 8 or 9, 10 listings, you can upgrade your account from the whatever events. I don't even know what it is, right? 0 to 10, and then what?
Yes.
10 to 20.
It's 0 to 10 is our only one. Now It's 10 and above.
Yep. So Karen says, is this the exact same way for a personal new listing?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly right, Karen. In fact, I'll make sure I show you that next. But I just wanted to show you. So we added the canceled listing, and then let's back up because we've been talking for a little bit here. So once I've added that listing to my account and listings to leads, and you'll see I've got like 4 or 5 different ones. I got a canceled, a listing presentation. So Karen, that's speaking to what your question is just now. I got expired. I got for sale by owner, and I've also got for sale by owner draft. All 6 of these have these presentations for them. And the only difference is the cover sheet. If it's for a listing presentation, I just go ahead and just click the property address, and that'll bring you back to that page, and you'll be able to access the PDF. In fact, let's click on that one. It's the same as a flip book, except this will be the one that you're going to print, and then you're going to carry it into the presentation. Now, some people will carry this into the presentation because you'll want to have this as a leave behind, but they will present on the flip book, on the tablet or the laptop. So just whatever is easier for you. Everyone can do this a little bit differently. So here's the one for the standard listing presentation. So you can see here it says, it doesn't say anything about expired or FSBO or canceled. It just says the complete marketing plan to get your home sold. It still has their name and address right on the cover, prepared for John Doe at 1200 Riley Street, Folsom, California. It's got the introduction. I will show you where to edit that. And then it's all the things we just talked about. And the beautiful thing is, I would for sure make sure I'm comfortable with this. Make sure you take a look at it ahead of time. Although, Vince, we did have an agent last week got into the mastermind group. She had a listing presentation coming up in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And she ended up realizing she had added some emojis that looked weird in it. And so she's trying to figure out how to take them out, and was a little bit flustered
Yeah.
because it was so close to the listing presentation. Support got on it real quickly. Support fixed it for her. And she had a great presentation. And even when on the drop of a dime, if you had a listing presentation coming up, let's say you got a listing presentation coming up in 30 minutes, you could literally go to Google Street View in a pinch, snip the photo, load it up, and have this ready to go in under 5 or 6 minutes. And
Scott,
yes.
yeah, would you go back to the listings page? Because we got a question here from Karen, which is, it's a bit confusing. Go to the top here. So when you're creating a listing presentation, whether it's for a FSBO or cancel, just a straight listing, you got a seller lead, you're going to add a listing. Okay. And you're going to do it manually. I know, because there's a tab that says listing presentation, you think you're going to go there and edit it, but that listing presentation is just sitting and waiting for you. Go ahead and show them that, Scott. This is a generic one, which has photos of all kinds of homes. It's not for a particular home. So when you're creating one for a presentation, you're going to do it as a listing.
Yeah. Now, yeah, like worst case scenario, let's just say you just don't have time. I don't have time to do any of that stuff. This one here is a generic one. And so you'll see here, again, I'm on listing presentation and listing presentation print. And there's also a flipbook version. And if I click view, this is still phenomenal. This is still great, but it is not showing the home of the homeowner.
Yeah.
So this will still help you win a listing presentation. And the really powerful thing about this one is so here, let me go back to it cold. I click listing presentation and I go to listing presentation print. When you click the download button, notice there's a drop-down menu. And so I can select any listing I want. Now, it's not going to put the address on there. It's not going to put the homeowner's name. But what it will do is use the photos of that listing for your listing presentation. So a use case for this might be, again, where I just don't have time for anything. I don't have time to even snip a photo from Google Street View. I don't have time to go to add listing and manual. I literally got to like just grab the link and go. Then you can use this version right here. And the really cool thing is I can select any listing in my account to build it off of. So again, there will be no addresses. So when I selected this one, 1015 Riley Street, the address is not shown anywhere. It's just the photos. And Vince, I know what a few clients of ours have done is they will add a demo listing to their account. So they got like the perfect photos. So it just looks great. And that way they've got a clean, generic version that they've got ready to use in a pinch. So for example, they could pre-print this and just have it in their car or for an open house. So that way, when you have an open house, you'll have something a little bit more generic available. But if you've got, for example, let's say you sold a listing 4 or 5 months ago and you're like, oh my God, that would be great. You know what? Upload that into listings to leads, leave it as status, maybe sold, right? So it's not just sold because it was from 4 or 5 months ago, but it's a great listing. It's in your farm area. And that can be used as your demo listing if you need it in a pinch. Like I said, with that, this is the generic version. So as you'll see, there is no name on the cover. There's no address on the cover. It's using the photos from the listing I selected, although the listing address is not in here anywhere, but it's still a great presentation and it will still beat 99 out of 100 others that you might use. And so you can see it's formatted just a little bit differently. I guess it does have the address in here, but it's not on the cover. So it's not prepared for this property. It's just a property that was in the area.
Hey, Scott, let's stop here a moment
Yeah.
because let's go back to the coming soon and let's talk about that real quick. So we made a change to the platform because, oh no, you were actually on the page of,
Actually, before we do that real quickly, if you don't mind, just because there's an introduction in this presentation.
yeah,
And that is on the listing presentation print, you're going to see over here, introduction. And if I click it, this is where I can add the about me part. And make sure when you're going to do an about me, that's a value add, not just about me. Sold homes in the area at top dollar and maybe put a few of the properties that you sold here. So we want to make sure that we're making this a value add for the homeowners that read it. But again, so when you add that introduction, and then we'll go to the coming soon so I can show everybody where that is. This is what it will look like. It'll be your name, your logo, your picture, your colors, all of that great stuff right there. So that is where you can edit the introduction again under listing presentation print, and then right here, introduction. So yeah, Vince, let me know, where's that coming soon at that they can check?
go to settings here on this page right here.
Oh, great. Oh, super.
And it's right there. So it's actually checked on top.
And to do coming perfect. So if you don't do coming soon, uncheck that. And then
Right.
coming soon won't be added. That the coming soon page will not be in the presentation.
Correct.
Oh, awesome. Good. Yeah. And that just went live today, I think.
Yes.
Super. Yeah. Like I said, I would leave it in there and I would speak to coming soon as the part of the transaction where we're going to get the photos and all that stuff, but everyone can do it the way you want to do it, the way you're more comfortable with. So if you want to uncheck that, you can do that right there. And then we will automatically take out and not display the page about coming soon. All right. But if we have time, we click manual correct and then grab our photo. Karen, exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because you can imagine if you are a homeowner, if I saw that generic one, I'm impressed. All right, that's great. But I'm telling you, if I saw the one with my home on it and my name, and when I scan that QR code, there's 3 different QR codes in here. When I scan that QR code and I've got my phone and I'm looking at my home on my phone, holy cow, that's an absolute game changer right there. That is a point when one of our clients a number of years back, Shannon Pyatt, used our program and he won the EXP listing presentation of the year. He would carry in the sign writer, right? Text 1234 to 25678. And you can still do this. This is still awesome. You can do that with this. And so he'd have the sign writer pre-built. So here, check this out. So I got my listing presentation.
That's
And
another way. I think what that's speaking to, it's what for Shannon, he would print that and have it on the kitchen table. And it's true in that example, as well as the QR code, is it's showing homeowners your technology prowess in marketing, right? Because now you can snap their home right on their phone, just sitting at the kitchen table. And it really speaks to all the technology you bring to it. The listing presentation in total says everything you're doing with social media and this and that. But I know that Shannon was saying that would blow them away.
Yeah, yeah, because it's just the fact of getting them to see their home on their phone, but now and he won listing presentation of the year at EXP with just that. Now we've got this. All of you are gonna win the listing presentation of the year for your offices
Yeah.
and in your areas when you're using these tools with the homeowner in your listings. Yeah, so again, I would use a program like My Plus Leads. There's a lot of others out there. You can even just Google the address and see if you can find the homeowner's information. If you don't have access, you could still just get their name and address printed up and go door knock or mail it to them. But again, if you've got access to their phone number and their email, what you might think for any one of these, whether it's for sale by owner, expired, canceled, or listing presentation, is I would think about starting off with texting them the landing page. And I would just
Mhm.
say, hey, Vince, I prepared a marketing plan to get your home sold for top dollar as fast as possible and as stress free as possible. And just whatever you think works for you in your area, include the link here. So just copy that link into the text message and send that to them. And then you're going to know when they fill it out. Cause they're going to see their home, right? They got good eyesight. They'll see, in fact, Vince, I think I'm going to have a change to the landing page where we actually put right under and best off
Mhm.
prepared exclusively for, and then put the homeowner's name and address, just so it's a little bit more pronounced on the landing page as well. But when the homeowner via text sees that, if you got the email address, I would send it to them via email again, because the more of these motivated home sellers, if your home expired, you're more than likely motivated. If your home was canceled, you're probably motivated. If you are selling your home as FISBO, you are motivated. Just we don't know if you're motivated enough yet to start working with an agent, but they're going to be at some point soon. And the more of these kind of people we can put these in front of, the more of them you're going to start closing. And again, when you think about the fact that it will cost you $10 to $20 for a Facebook seller lead, $30 to $50 for a Google seller lead, and you can print this up for between $6 and $10 and get a thermal and just use the landing page or the flip book link for free. You can buy the $57 thermal binder and print it up for around, let's say, just $10 to be on the high side, and go door knock with it. Might get like a nice manila envelope or a nice, almost like a FedEx type envelope, put their name on it. What I would do is I would go door knock because this is so stellar. And I would just say, hey, my name is Scott Pierce at Eldo Realty. I understand your property canceled last week. And I just wanted to present this to you because I know, how frustrating it can be to have your home expire and not get sold in the time frame that you were expecting. I totally get that. So I wanted to prepare. You're going to see your home right there. It's on every page. It'll show you all the marketing that we do. And again, the homeowner, I would have them pull it out in front of you if you can, so they can take a look at it. And when they see their home and essentially in this magazine and it's 26 pages, yeah, all those phone calls and all those scripts that all those other agents are doing, you're going to be head and shoulders above them.
Hey, Scott,
Yep.
would you pull up the listing presentation and take everybody again to that QR code? Because I think people want to see that. And I got to answer some questions here that are here.
You want me to
One,
look at the PDF or does it matter?
it doesn't matter.
All right.
We want to get to that mobile page where they can see the QR code. The QR codes are all auto, they're part of the system. If you're a client of ours, all of your listings have a QR code automatically. So that's not it. And if you're a long-term older client, the text service was an add-on. If you're a new client to us, the text service is now part of our core offer. So if you've signed up as a basic package and you signed up since May, that's actually part of it. So all this technology that you're looking at, it's all there. Okay. All the branding's all there. That's all part of it. So that question was coming up, but again, this page right here appears to be what's closing the deal for all of our clients that are using this. Now the text question comes up, and this is a little like Scott. I think the way that our clients are using this is they're taking the hyperlink from the top of this, emailing it to themselves, then just copying it and sending it out in a text. We don't have a way inside the platform. That's because I remember Tamara was saying that on the call last week. She's like, I wait and send that to them when I'm in the presentation, but it just,
Yeah,
however
I
you want
think
to
she
do it.
said she'll send them yeah, so she didn't want what that's when you got a listing presentation,
Yeah.
I don't wanna send this to my listing presentation, homeowner ahead of time because I wanna be there when they scan that
Right.
QR code because you wanna watch the look on their face, and you wanna
Yeah.
be able to ride that wave, alright? When
Yeah.
they scan that QR code, their face is gonna light up, and you're gonna get a high from it. You're gonna be like, "Holy crap, this is amazing." Alright?
And
You're gonna love it as much as they are.
let me give you a story because, where Scott's saying that we just added the functionality of cancel, doing this and cancel. One of our clients, John Proby, put it in the mastermind group like 2 months ago that he saw this beautiful property get canceled. It was
Mhm.
waterfront in Florida. And he called him and he said, hey, what happened? And he said, this realtor wasn't doing anything to sell my home and I canceled it. It wasn't selling it. So he said, I got a really great system of selling homes. Can I meet you? Can I come over? And then he calls me immediately. He's like, hey, I got a listing appointment. How do I do this? And so we put it together with one photograph. When the man got to this page, he said, I want those sign writers in front of my house. And that was the very first thing. He's like, I need to get those printed. And so now he's got 2 listings worth, I think combined 2.5 million, which is awesome.
In fact, he said, "I'm not a listing agent." I think it was the highest listing he ever had. He
Yeah.
goes, I'm sorry. He goes, "I'm not a luxury agent." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Dude, obviously you are."
Right.
Obviously, 'cause yeah.
You know what? Since we've been talking a lot here, and there's a question, where can I watch all the videos? Can you point people to our YouTube channel or get them into the marketing calendar so they can
Yeah,
get there?
exactly, yeah. So for all the YouTube videos or anything here, if you go to the marketing calendar and the 3rd tab over, this marketing calendar, presentations and resources, and YouTube is actually the very first one. So just click where it says subscribe. We should really change that to say go to or something
Yeah.
or visit. And then you'll just see here. I think in everyone's computers can be a little bit different, but you'll see somewhere, excuse me, either both current webinars, or if you go to playlist, or I'm sorry, live. I'm not going to click
Live.
on
I
live
think
because then we're going to
videos
see
and live.
ourselves. Pardon me?
Videos and live have all of our classes.
Yeah. What we also do though is they are in live, but then what we also is we download them and we put them in the current webinars as well. So
Yeah.
you should see them in both places. But yeah, and I would just make sure the video. We try to take out videos that are more than a year old or make them inactive, just so we don't want people accidentally seeing something from a year ago and not appreciating that. So I would just take a look at when was it released, and then you'll be good to go. If you're not in the Facebook mastermind group yet, make sure you click join group. You want to make sure that you are there. If you are in the mastermind group, you'd have known about this tool on Friday probably. And then we got Instagram. We are live webinars, leadgenwebinars.com if you're watching the recording. And then we got support. And then we got our blog. And there's a lot of great stuff at our blog. So you can take a look at that as well.
Oh,
All
also,
right.
by the way, if you scroll up, we're at 11:50 here, but I think at 11:20, I shared a video with Brian Mathewson and Scott about open house marketing. And one of the things that Scott was saying earlier is what there's a number of tools that are working right now in the market. And one of them is this listing presentation. That's why we've been talking for nearly an hour about it. But our open house marketing is great at capturing more listings. Part of the reason is a nearby homeowner letter, right? So you're really letting the neighbors know I've got an open house, and the nearby homeowner letter, which is typically what we talk about on this call. It tells homeowners, get your home value right here. We have an open house at 1 o'clock this weekend. That affects your home value. Get it. That call is really great. Brian's been a long-term client of ours. He's got a broker account with us, and he's really strategic in that call of how he uses our tools. And you should all be watching that. And I know I talk to a lot of realtors. There's still people that say, I don't even do open houses. I don't want to do open houses. And the reason why I want to tell you is this is getting more listings for our clients right now. And that's why I shared that, because the point of this class is how to get more listings. You should find my calls called Top Tools for More Listings. I go into a lot of detail on a lot of tools. Today, we really focus on the listing presentation, which is important, and you should definitely be leveraging.
There was a post from a client in the mastermind group a couple of 3 weeks ago where she said she uses the nearby homeowner letter and she doesn't even do open houses. She was
Mhm.
using it for, then she'll send it out once for just listed, once for just sold. Now, these are her listings, but when you use this letter, and again, if you look at any of our open house or just sold or our pending training, any of those live calls or those webinars that we do for listings in particular, this letter, now, if you don't have a listing, go find an open house to hold open, and you can use this letter to invite people to the open house that's not even yours. All right. I would go and door knock with this letter a day or two before my open house. Now, if it's your listing, I would do the exact same thing. Hi, my name is Scott. Just want to let you know we're having the open house at 15 The Ambient Way. It's just around the corner on Sunday from 2 to 4. We're doing a neighbor preview. This is fully editable. It's what Dustin Fox used to really just blow up his listing business. And it's a great way to get more of those neighbors there. And I can't remember who mentioned it, but when you think about it, that's why you want to have a copy of this. It could be the generic version, or it could be one from a previous listing presentation that you did, but you want this at your open house so that as these neighbors are coming through, now, first of all, some won't come through and you'll just generate great leads from this letter. So use this, mail it. I put a link, Zaire Mail, ZAIR mail.com is a great printing service. There's Mailbox Power and there's Thanks.io. For those, you got to have a subscription. So it's like a monthly fee. So no matter what, you're paying them every month. Zaire Mail, it's so easy. I was really impressed. I actually sent out a letter for a client and it took me all of like 15 minutes. And the key is handwritten font. So not a lot of vendors have handwritten font. All those three do. But again, the thing I like about Zaire Mail is I don't need a subscription. I can just set up an account that's absolutely free. And then when I need to do a mailing of the letter, of a postcard, what have you, I can just do it when I need to. They got great prices. They got the handwritten fonts. We want to make sure that envelope looks personal. We've even had clients, Dustin, he used to actually do it on his own as well. Get like red envelopes or green or black. You might use like a silver pen so that it looks like a party invitation, right? The more, I don't want to say interesting necessarily, but the more personal, the more non-business we can make this look, the more conversion, the more engagement you're going to get from it. And that's what we're looking for. All right. If I spend a little bit of time, I've seen clients, they'll do where they do an evening where they are going to do 100 of these envelopes. They just got the TV on, watching whatever they're watching, and they're just hand doing these envelopes while they're watching TV or something.
There's a
So
question here. Do you put a return address? And yes, our clients do put their return address because to Scott's point, you don't want this to look like generic bulk mail. You want it to look like this came from somebody. And a
no,
lot of our
no,
clients,
no, I wouldn't put Remax. I'd put Scott Pierce, your business address, but I would not put like Remax 101, no, Remax Central or whatever it is.
yeah.
So
So then there's a question on and demographics. Like Scott, we have our printer that's connected, which can actually target people by years of ownership. Does Zaire do that? Does it have any of that
yeah,
kind
I
of stuff?
believe so.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And you can always upload a list as well. So if you've got one of those programs where you can pull a list, but yeah, for demographics, right? 5+ years home ownership and things like that. Yeah.
Would you show them that in the account here? That's actually, so this is the nearby homeowner letter. This, and right here on this page, it says express copy. And that is the integrated printer that we have that you can mail this to 50, to 100, to 200 people. You can say 1, 2, 3, 5 mile radius, and they only send it to homeowners with more than 6 years equity ownership.
The problem is though, they don't have the handwritten font
That is
normally.
the problem. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Zaire is cool in that way, but
Right.
we've had this for a few years as integration. It doesn't look, it looks a little bit like bulk mail when it goes in.
Yeah. If it's a postcard or you need door hangers printed, this is a great option for sure. And you could even create the list and maybe, can you pull a list from here without mailing or I don't think so.
No, you
Okay.
can't.
So yeah, I would get a worst case, call your title company, ask your title company for a list and then use that list with Zaire Mail or whatever service you're going to use. But yeah, I would definitely look at ours if you need like a little bit of a idea. I want owners, not renters. I want 6+ years home ownership. If you want to do the income, that might be something you take a look at. Again, think about the fact that a lot of tradespeople and entrepreneurs are going to have a much lower household income recorded than actual. So that's not always the best indicator. And a few other items right here that we've got available, and you can get these at really any kind of service. But yeah, if you're doing like a just sold postcard, and the cool thing about the postcards and the door hangers, they do follow the same pattern as the letter. And I know people that have used a combination. They might use the letter for the just sold. They might use a door hanger for an open house. And you can see here, right? We're letting them know what it is. So it's an open house. We let them know where they can get more information, just like in the letter. And then again, just like in the letter, we let them know that when this home is sold, it will affect their home value. Or in the case of just sold, it would say, now that this home has sold, your home value has been affected. So yeah, the letter is going to be the highest conversion. And again, because you can door knock with it, you can door drop with it, you can mail it. Again, the only key on the mailing part is it's not, I won't say it'll be a complete waste of time if you mail it with a regular service, but you really, as much as possible, want this to look as personal as possible. Because I'll tell you, when somebody gets a red envelope with a nice font on it where it looks like, oh, wow, somebody took the time to do this, it's not going into the trash bin on the way back from the mailbox. It will go into the house, and it will sit in the house until they open it up and they take a look at it. And now that they went through all of that energy and emotional investment of bringing it in, opening it up, that letter is going to sit there, and it's going to sit on the kitchen table or the countertop for a while. And that's what you want. You don't want them throwing it away. So anyways, take that. And
Hey, Scott, before we leave,
yes,
would you go over and just run an ad on a sold property? Now, everybody, I want to remind you, because somebody's asking, is this going to be replayed? This will be on our YouTube channel. We've already mentioned that a few times, so we don't need to go look at that again. But this call is recorded. It will be on our YouTube channel. And so when Scott is saying about the nearby homeowner letter, that it gets the highest quality leads because you're mailing it to people who already own a home. You know that when you mail it. You don't get the highest volume of leads. The highest volume of leads actually comes from sold ads on Facebook or pending ads. Actually, I think sold ads actually generate more leads because pending ads, they do get low price seller leads, but a lot of people don't know what it means that you're marketing something under contract or pending. They're just confused. And so you have to really wordsmith it a little bit more. But if you do a sold ad and you spend $50, which is our typical default budget, you're probably going to end up with 6, 7, 8 leads with name, email, and phone number. So more leads from Facebook, just not as high quality as mailing that letter to your market.
yeah, but I would definitely, and again, you can add a listing to your account, similar to what we did with listing presentation. We create those flip books where you're the selling agent. So if your buyer is in contract, get that listing into your account. It's going to be worth the 5 or 6 minutes that it takes. And again, if you're new to us or you just didn't think about it and you sold a listing a few months ago or a month ago, add it into listings to leads as a selling agent. And that way you can do an ad, just like, look how easy this is. We autofill location. We got the 15-mile radius for special housing ad category. We're going to do a lifetime budget of $50. Now I'm going to change that to $100. So $50 is the minimum you want to be doing. We got people going up to $200 to $300 on these ads because it works. We're going to start end date for 1 week. It's editable. I can change the template. I can add a video. I can retarget. So if you got a custom audience, you can do that. I've already got my Facebook pixel in here. So that's something that you can do via the profile. And that way the pixel data is going to work. And it's just a great ad. And that'll be a Facebook lead ad, capture name, email, phone number, and selling time frame. And we recently started adding into the Facebook lead form would you like a copy of my ultimate guide to selling a home? And so now you might, if you start doing these ads, and for buyers as well, it'll be the ultimate guide to buying a home. Your lead notification will let you know that they've requested that guide. And then if they do, you just in the autoresponder that you get, you can just grab the copy. And we're going to be automating this at some point soon, but the guides are under the PDF guide section right here. And in fact, I had a really good client. She got one of these and she was confused. She goes, "Oh my God, what do I do?" And when I said, just read the email, she goes, "Oh, sorry." She goes, "Oh, I got it." But let me show you this ultimate guide and ultimate guide to selling your home, ultimate guide to buying a home. These are like 100 pages long. These are like a combination of all the seller or all the buyer guides.
Hey,
And
Scott, do me a favor and hit the marketing tools there.
yeah,
So that there are a lot of ways of capturing seller leads, and that was the point of this call. And there are ads on Facebook, there are ads on Google, there's free social media tools, there are print tools. And when you see the words e-flyer for your database, it means you can copy an e-flyer and blast it out on your leads in your own CRM. So when we're talking about getting seller leads, there are a lot of ways to approach your market. The listing presentation is really key to closing that. But typically on this call, we're going to talk about, hey, how do you find those people? How do you get sellers in their contact information? And Scott I don't know if he mentioned it, but on the PDF guides, there are 40 that are designed for homeowners. You are branded on every page. Okay. And your logo and all that's on every page. You've got
yeah,
multiple ways of getting each PDF guide out in order to get more sellers. You can run ads on Facebook with your sold properties or your under contract or pending properties to get sellers. You
yeah,
can reach out to FISBOs and you can reach out to cancels now, right? There's a
yeah.
lot of ways of doing that. And of course, leveraging the listing presentation once you get there.
Yeah, I'll just since I got it right here, I might as well just show you. You can send this to all of your seller leads in listings to leads. So I can click send now and just it'll send it to all of my current seller leads, or I can send it out through Bold Trail, Lofty, Follow Up Boss, and I'll show you. There's a icon, the copy icon to the right, and you got three options. Copy code, that'll be the email without the signature, the email with the signature, and copy for FUB. So Follow Up Boss. The great thing about these is there's no landing page. The download will happen right from the email. So it'll literally download the guide right from the email. And even if you send it through Lofty or Follow Up Boss, you will get a notification letting you know that Scott just downloaded your ultimate guide to selling a home. So this is something I would be sending out to my database for like every 3 or 4 months. Right now, we got 40 plus for homeowners or homeowner or home
Yeah.
sellers. So what you do here, there's only one little weird thing you do, and that is you find the insert HTML or insert source button. You click it, a pop-up button is going to happen. I do not know how to code. I'm not a coder, but you just paste that stuff in there. And then when you come back here, you click the button again. You got this beautiful email. I got my signature at the bottom, and I'm just going to copy the subject line because I'm too lazy to type. So I just copy that. And what I would probably do is I would just save this as I would send it to all of my homeowners, all my home seller leads, and then I would save it as a template so that just every 3 or 4 months I can come through here and send it out again. Yeah. All right. I know we've gone a little bit long. I apologize. I hate going long. I know people are busy, but wow, everyone's hanging out. So that's awesome. And notice I accompanied for individual group coaching beyond these webinars. Valerie, we're actually going to be coming out with the onboarding the coaching thing. In fact, it was funny. I was talking to Michael Hullickson this morning for a little bit. He was giving me a few things to think about with that. Valerie, yeah, stay tuned. You'll be getting an email like in the next day or two. Vince and I are just finishing up the onboarding PDF guide that will go along with these calls that we'll be doing with people. But so yeah, pay attention to your email and you'll be here. And also the mastermind group. You'll be hearing more about that in a few days. Yes. All right.
Thanks everybody for staying with us. This call is recorded. It'll be on the YouTube channel, and go check out the other calls as well on Top Tools for More Listings, because there's a lot more involved in how to do print marketing, how to use email, all the tools that we designed to help you get more listings. We covered more in those calls.
Yep. Exactly right. And again, just if you click through the marketing calendar and under playlist, you're going to see current webinars. Might be somewhere different on your account, but if I click that, you will see. In fact, there should be a playlist for that. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, I'm on playlist. And maybe if I click under here. So current webinars, and you'll be able to see all the different calls under that playlist right here. So yeah, go check that out. Like Vince said, if you have any other questions, get to the mastermind group, get with the support team. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Vince. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.